CBC Late Night News.
Tonight, 3 Toronto hospitals face COVID-19 outbreaks as the city continues to see case numbers climb.
At the end of the day, when you have this much circulating virus, it's going to get in. Then you have to see next how you contain it once it gets in.
Concerns from health officials that spiking cases and widespread community transmission could put hospital capacity at risk. And
if I had a staff member that did fall ill, certainly it would be my responsibility to call everyone who they may have come into contact with.
restaurants share their strategies for dealing with COVID-19 cases, why some say closing is not an option. Plus, finally, the perfect pairing for your next TV binge. How a local theater is staying alive by selling its buttery movie theater popcorn. Good evening, I'm Marivel Tarouk. York Region will see the return of restrictions beginning at midnight. It will be joining Toronto, Peel and Ottawa in a modified Stage 2. That means no more indoor dining, as well as the closure of gyms and movie theaters. Kelda Yoon is live on Unionville Main Street in Markham. So, Kelda, restaurants are welcoming diners inside one last time before the new rules change at midnight.
This is it. Yeah, this is the last night for indoor dining, at least for the next 28 days. I'm here at Unionville Arms Pub and Grill on Unionville Main Street here in Markham. I'm on their patio, thankfully is covered because it has started raining pretty hard. Now the restaurant is about to close up for the night. There are still a few patrons inside, the last remaining few. And starting at an hour from now, at midnight, starting tomorrow, this will be it. Patio dining as well as takeout will still be allowed, but the indoor dining room, that will be closed. The general manager spoke to me earlier. He said that is very disappointing, but also understandable given the rise in cases in York Region. York Region saw 94 new infections today. As well, the last week, the number of hospitalizations has also doubled. Now, so tonight, the last night for indoor dining, and some regulars, they definitely took advantage of that. It was just about 3 months ago, actually, that York Region moved into Stage 3, allowing for the reopening of indoor dining. The pub adapted by setting up partitions, enforcing distancing measures, and increasing cleaning and sanitation. Now, it says the return to restrictions will definitely put a dent on business in what has already, of course, been a very tough year for the restaurant industry. The patrons I spoke to also say it's sad to have to go back to Stage 2, one group jokingly calling their outing tonight the Last Supper.
We're sort of like a hub of the community, so we get a lot of groups and friends and all kinds of, families and everything. And, it's, a lot of them are like, well, it's the last time we'll be together for a month.
It was bittersweet, I think.
Yeah, bittersweet. Delicious, but bittersweet.
Yeah, we love the Arms, and we wanted to continue to support local business.
I think it's when there's so many people that weren't playing by the rules, they didn't really have a choice but to do the step.
The restrictions will be in place for at least the next 28 days. The restaurant, it already has some heaters as well as the tent. As you can see, it will be adding more heaters, and also they're hoping, of course, for mild weather over the next couple of months. Now, the restrictions, they don't apply to all places. Schools, childcare centers, as well as places of worship, they will be exempt. They will be allowed to stay open. Marivel?
Good to see the community still trying to do what they can to support these local businesses out there. Kelda, thanks so much for this. New restrictions also come into effect at long-term care homes in York tomorrow, leaving family members worried.
When I took my mom back after the last absence, she said to me, well, I guess I'm going back into jail. I hate to say it this way, but I mark the time with my mother in months instead of years. And to think that these months that I could have with her, I'm now not able to spend any time with her at all, is really difficult.
Only essential caregivers will be allowed inside the homes. Short-term and temporary absences will also no longer be allowed, except for medical or compassionate reasons. The province reported 658 new cases of COVID-19 today. Toronto accounts for about 2/3 of today's tally at 197. The rest in the usual hotspots. Peel region saw 155 cases today, with 94 in York region and 66 in Ottawa. Other areas saw double-digit increases, 45 new cases in Durham region, 29 in Holton and 18 in Simcoe Muskoka. The province processed about 41,000 tests, with the backlog at more than 23,000. According to the Ministry of Health, the province's death toll also grew by 5. As infections continue to rise, so do the number of patients landing in hospitals. And even there, the virus continues to spread. 3 separate facilities in Toronto are now dealing with COVID-19 outbreaks. Lauren Pelly has the latest.
It's calm outside this West End Toronto hospital. Inside, 4 units are experiencing outbreaks with at least 20 cases of COVID-19, including more than a dozen staff members who've tested positive for the virus. St. Joseph's Health Centre is now further tightening policies for visitors, but that's little comfort to patients coming for COVID tests.
A little bit more nervous, but we had to get the test done.
This couple made an appointment after both started feeling chills.
I think it might have affected where we went to go get the test, perhaps. If we knew there was an outbreak at this hospital, we'd go to a different one.
A few kilometers away, Toronto Western Hospital is also reporting an outbreak, with 3 patients and 6 staff members testing positive from 2 different units. And the Centre for Addiction and Mental Health declared an outbreak Sunday after 2 patients tested positive there.
Clinicians warn these hospital outbreaks are just a symptom of a bigger problem: widespread community transmission of this virus.
At the end of the day, when you have this much circulating virus, it's going to get in. Then you have to see next how you contain it once it gets in.
Every time this happens, it disrupts hospitals and how healthcare functions, and you have healthcare providers who need to be in quarantine or isolation.
At Alberta's largest hospital, Foothills Medical Centre in Calgary, a deadly weeks-long outbreak with dozens of cases has forced more than 300 healthcare workers to isolate. Hospital officials in Toronto hope to avoid that kind of dire scenario. But even before these outbreaks, the system was under strain.
Even now, many hospitals in the Greater Toronto Area are near 100% capacity.
And even if it's a small percentage of people who are infected come into hospital, when you have so many thousands of people being infected, it is going to affect the healthcare system.
That makes it crucial to curb COVID-19's spread beyond hospital walls. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
Mayor John Tory commented on the outbreaks today, saying he's hopeful recent measures taken to curb the spread will have an impact.
You see the case counts coming down a little bit, but you have to look over 7 and 14 and 21 days, and we just have to hope that that's exactly what's happening. But, and keep your eye very closely on all of those parts of the city that are at risk.
The city's Board of Health will meet tomorrow morning to discuss Toronto's recent resurgence in cases. Indoor dining is currently banned in Toronto, Peel, and as of midnight tonight, York region. But any positive cases of COVID-19 among staff or patrons in restaurants don't have to be made public. It's not mandated by city or provincial public health. As Dahlia Ashry shows us, restaurants and diners themselves are divided over the issue.
If they're taking all my information for me to get a seat, then obviously the reason I'm doing that is so that they can tell me if there was an incident.
They can say we had a case a month ago, but now it's fine. That would be the good thing to do.
At this restaurant, business is running. Food is ready to be served. And some people are enjoying a bite out on the patio. But restaurant owner Shamez Emlani says that could all change.
If I had a staff member that did fall ill, certainly it would be my responsibility to call everyone who they may have come into contact with, and to make sure that all the rest of the staff are tested and quarantined accordingly. We would go through all the correct measures, because we're all in this together.
While Emlani tells me he would temporarily close his doors if there were any reported positive COVID-19 cases, other business owners tell me they just can't afford to do that.
We did not close. And the reason we didn't close is because financially we couldn't take another hit.
On September 30th, she posted on Instagram saying public health informed her that a customer tested positive for COVID-19. She says they assured her it was a low-risk contact. Brand says she contacted customers and staff to let them know, then took matters into her own hands.
And then I hired a professional cleaning company, and they clean bars specifically. And that also cost me hundreds of dollars.
One infectious disease expert says there is always risk of transmission in any social interaction.
We can't keep restaurants closed forever. A lot of them are hanging by a thin thread.
Dahlia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
A man is dead, 2 women are in hospital, and another man is missing after a boating accident near Peterborough this morning.
At approximately 6:40 a.m. this morning, Peterborough County OPP was contacted to attend Chemong Lake on the shores of Curve Lake First Nation. Reports were that a fishing boat had capsized with 4 occupants.
Officers and members of the community rescued 3 of the occupants. They were sent to hospital where 1 man was pronounced dead, and the 2 women were treated for injuries. 1 is in life-threatening condition. The Marine unit is continuing its search for the other passenger. The cause of the accident is under investigation. Back in Toronto, a storefront in Kensington Market is badly damaged after a 3-alarm fire last night. It happened just before midnight at this 2-story market on Augusta Avenue. Firefighters arrived to find flames coming from the rear of the building. Crews say it took considerable effort to put out the fire. Investigators are looking into the cause of the blaze. No injuries, fortunately, were reported. Dozens took to the streets of Sudbury today, supporting demands made by their local Black Lives Matter chapter.
I think it's important to think about local change because a lot of the time when we're thinking about like Black Lives Matter and all of those things, we think that it's like something far away in the States or even in Toronto, but there's changes that we can make here in Sudbury that are really important to help like Black and Indigenous people of color.
Black Lives Matter made 3 demands to Sudbury City Council last month, among them reducing the local police budget and moving those funds into community programs and grants. Local councillors have said they will consider the ideas. Election officials say Toronto's first experience with voting during the pandemic will be safe, despite rising case counts and calls from some to postpone the contests. Advanced voting is already underway for 2 federal by-elections in Toronto Centre and York Centre.
They have masks available for voters. You'll see people cleaning surfaces frequently. Physical distancing will be in place at the polls as well. And if you're really concerned about it, maybe you have an autoimmune disorder or you're just a little worried, maybe you're waiting, you've had a COVID test and you're waiting for results and you've been told you can't go out, you can't leave your house. So you still have the option, Tuesday until 6 p.m. you can apply online for a ballot to vote by mail.
The by-elections will fill 2 vacant seats. York Centre MP Michael Levitt stepped down last month. The other will replace former Finance Minister Bill Morneau. Officials say voting can only be delayed in exceptional circumstances, and they believe the measures put in place will keep residents safe. The changes may result in longer wait times, though. By-election day is on October 26th. Let's check in on your forecast with Christina. You did warn us we needed the umbrellas today.
You need the umbrella, but I've got good news, Maribel, because we'll have clear skies tomorrow morning. How's that?
Nice. Okay.
But the rainfall is going to continue. And you did mention the, prolonged outdoor dining. Well, we are at seasonal. We should be at about 13 degrees for Toronto. We're just about there. Let's take a closer look at that satellite and radar. We've already seen that rain come into southern Ontario. Here it is over Windsor, London, Barrie, and Toronto. We're going to see that taper off overnight. So clear skies for your Monday morning, 6 degrees, feeling like 4, but by the time the afternoon comes around, keep that umbrella handy. We might see some moisture for the afternoon, but it's really into the evening where we're going to see that heavier rainfall. So your Monday overnight, here is that rainfall. Toronto 6 degrees, Oakville at 6 degrees, Newmarket at 5 degrees. So overall, Toronto's going to see just about 5 millimeters of that rainfall. Heading into Orangeville, we're going to see a lot heavier rainfall, 5 into 15 millimeters. And then into our Tuesday, here comes the sunshine once again. Toronto at 11 degrees, Oakville at 11 degrees, Whitby at 11 degrees. But here comes a parade of systems for the new week, and then I'll have more details for you coming up in your long-range forecast.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Thanks, Christina.
Thank you.
Hundreds rallied downtown this afternoon, demanding Armenian forces withdraw from occupied regions of Azerbaijan.
We want Canada and Canadian government, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Foreign Affairs Minister Mr. Champagne to pressure Armenia to make them leave Azerbaijan's occupied lands and to comply with the demands of the international community. And that's the only way to bring peace to Caucasus, to the region.
Demonstrators marched from Queen's Park to Nathan Phillips Square, urging military personnel to leave the Nagorno-Karabakh region. The enclave has long been contested and has now reignited a decades-long conflict. Hundreds have been killed since fighting broke out at the end of September. Canada has joined other countries in urging both sides to stop the attacks. Nova Scotia's Assembly of Mi'kmaq Chiefs is calling for an emergency meeting with federal ministers. It follows Ottawa's decision to increase the RCMP's presence in response to the escalating dispute between Indigenous and non-Indigenous fishermen.
Someone needs to be held accountable for what's going on, and right now nobody is.
Mi'kmaq leaders welcomed the increase in RCMP officers, but they want more protection for their fishermen while they're on the water. The decision to send more police comes after a suspicious fire destroyed a lobster pound used by Indigenous fishermen. The Mi'kmaq say they are exercising their treaty rights. Now to a CBC News exclusive. The House of Commons is installing plexiglass barriers in certain areas tomorrow. It's because some MPs are accused of being so cavalier about public health rules, young employees fear for their own safety. Ashley Burke has that story.
In the midst of a pandemic, when everyone's told to physically distance, some members of parliament aren't abiding by the same rules.
I just think they're not paying attention to the basic COVID rules once they're in their lobby space.
MPs don't have to wear masks while sitting in these private lobbies, an area away from the cameras near the House of Commons to hold meetings or grab food. But MPs and staff are supposed to physically distance. May said in the opposition lobby that the Conservatives, NDP and Bloc Québécois share, some are ignoring the rules.
I can't even walk in to get a glass of water. It's too many people clustered, too many people without masks.
According to internal emails obtained by CBC News, some pages have raised concerns about their own safety and the safety of their families. Complaints that some MPs and staff are standing too close to them while not wearing masks. Each week, MPs are traveling back and forth to Ottawa, meeting staff and some attending events in their ridings.
Tonight I've talked about...
The Conservative leader and the entire Bloc caucus had to self-isolate last month. Both Aaron O'Toole and Yves-François Blanchet tested positive. Both parties claim they're following the rules on Parliament Hill. The NDP said it's being careful in the lobby too.
As the whip, what I've really done is asked my members to be as safe as possible and encourage them to wear masks, and I've been pretty pleased with their performance.
But some pages aren't pleased. After the House of Commons became aware CBC News was looking into the issue, it informed pages that plexiglass barriers would be installed by Monday around pages' chairs in the opposition's lobby. But some want more done.
I would support mandatory use of masks in the lobby. That's what I've seen in the government lobby, and except for obviously eating.
For now, pages have been told it's up to them to withdraw from any situation they feel is unsafe and report it to their supervisors. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
It's a live look at the CN Tower for you. A rainy evening out there. Coming up, I'll look at your extended forecast. Stay with us. The Fox Theatre is temporarily closed due to the pandemic, but they're still giving the Beaches neighborhood a taste of the cinema every weekend by selling their famous movie theater popcorn.
People constantly were emailing us and saying, please, please, can you sell the popcorn? We're really craving it. We miss it. Well, we sold popcorn when we were closed before, earlier in the pandemic. We tried selling popcorn sort of in the summer, and it was pretty popular, but there seemed to be a lot of response when we had to close again, and people saying they wanted to support us in any way they could. So we just thought we'll try it again, and it's been crazy busy. It's amazing. It's so wonderful that we have the community that we have and that they're so supportive. And yeah, it's been busy since we opened, and it's still going, and we're so happy about it.
I bought $30 worth of popcorn. Not all for me, for my neighbors as well. Because just wanted to try and come down and do what we can to support the Fox and do all we can to keep it going. But there's just something special about movie theater popcorn, and something even more special getting it from the Fox as well. And it tastes different for some reason, I don't know why. I can make popcorn at home, but it just doesn't have the same feeling. I just think it's such a wonderful place. I mean, it's been around since about 1914, and so just having that sort of history and having something that goes back that long is just incredible to have in our community and in the Beaches, and it's just wonderful. Yeah, so lucky to have it.
I mean, we have people coming in constantly talking about how they came here when they were kids, and now they're bringing their grandkids here. People who worked here in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and they all come in and have stories, and they really feel like we're such an important part of the community, an important part of their memories of being in Toronto.
All right, Christina's back with the long range. I feel like we need to pay extra attention because a lot's going on this week.
That's right, Maribel. First of all, you had me with that theater popcorn. I got excited watching that piece. I want some too. So your Monday morning, clear skies, some cloud cover at 6 degrees. You're not going to need that umbrella until later on in the day. It's really until the evening where we're going to be dealing with this parade of systems coming in. So late Monday, here comes in that first cold front, our first heavy rainfall. We're going to see several systems throughout the week. So a closer look at your Monday: Toronto at 9 degrees, Newmarket 9 degrees, Barrie 9 degrees, Oakville 9 degrees. So we're just a touch below seasonal for our Monday. How much rainfall are we going to see throughout the week with this parade of systems? You can see here Toronto in the dark green shaded color. So we're going to be around the 30 millimeter mark for the entire week. Something interesting happens on Wednesday, though. We could be dealing with this surge of warmth heading into Canada. If that does happen, Toronto will be at 17 degrees, Oakville at 17 degrees. It really depends on the timing and the direction of that cold front. Let's take a closer look at the next 7 days. There is your rainfall for Toronto for your Monday. Clear skies. There's your good news for your Tuesday. Sun peaks out Wednesday, Thursday. Here's that parade of systems I was telling you about. But we could be dealing with that surge of warmth for your Wednesday as well as your Friday. But that doesn't mean there isn't going to be rainfall heading into Barrie, Ontario. Here's that rainfall for your Monday. Clear skies for your Tuesday, though we're going to be dealing with a lot of cloud cover Wednesday and Thursday. Return of that rainfall Wednesday and Friday, though, that's where we could really see those temperatures surge. So we could feel that warmth. And then Kitchener, Ontario, rainfall for your Monday, clear skies for your Tuesday. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks so much, Christina.
Thank you.
And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.